And just have your feet about hip width apart. And take your awareness down to your feet. So feet are really important, lots of nerve endings in our feet, we don't really give them much attention. So we're just going to pick up your toes. You can look at them to start with and try and spread your toes nice and wide. And then just put them down one at a time, starting with your little toe and going all the way to your big toe. So just do that a few times, looking at your toes. And then can you try and do it looking forward and not looking at your toes? And see if you can still do the same movement. Just do that a few more times. Then can you do it with your eyes closed? So close your eyes and try and do it. So do a little bit of work with eyes closed, because you probably all know this by now. It really helps just to take your focus inwards, and it also helps to get away from all the other distractions. And in some exercises, it makes it more challenging as well. So just do that one more time. And then open your eyes. Try, without looking at your feet, evenly distribute your weight between your toes, all 10 toes. Can you feel all 10 toes, the balls of your feet and your heels? Lift up through the arches of your feet. And then just start to sway your weight slightly forwards. It's hard to see me on Zoom, but slightly forwards and then slightly backwards. Don't change anything else. All I want you to do is lift up through the arches of your feet and then shift your weight forwards and backwards. Do that one more time. And then try and find where you think your center is. Then I want you to think about just coming up your legs. Imagine you've got magnets between your ankles, your knees, and your inner thighs. Lift up a little bit through your pelvic floor area. Lift up here underneath your rib cage, which is your diaphragm. Lift up your breastbone. Can you feel that gives you that length? And then finally, lift up the soft palate at the roof of your mouth so you feel that you're growing up towards the ceiling. And now I want you to sway your weight forwards and backwards again, and just notice any difference. So do you feel, I don't know, what do you feel? Do you feel like I've got more range of movement? Close your eyes and try it. I feel like I'm a bit stronger, so that I feel like I can go further forwards and I can go further backwards. And I start to feel that my abdominals working. Whereas if we're just where we were before, when we're not really lifted, we're kind of a bit rounded through the shoulders, so sway forward and backwards. There's no space for your abdominals to do what they're supposed to do. So just go forwards and backwards one more time. And then again, find your center. Keeping your eyes closed, can you float your heels off the floor without wobbling too much? And then come down. Just do that a few more times in your own time. So you're not lifting very high. And imagine that you've got a little ball between your ankles, that you can hold that, keep hold of that ball between your ankles as you lift and lower. That just stops your ankle, it keeps your ankles stable. When you come down, try not to touch this time. So basically, if you are right in the center, if your and your core muscles are working well, it means you can come up and down without falling over, without wobbling too much. Just do that 2 more times. Start to feel it in those calf muscles. Last one. And then bring your heels down and open your eyes. Give your shoulders a little roll. Just give your legs a little wiggle if you need to as well. And then you're going to take your feet into tandem stance. So again, it's harder to see me on Zoom. I'm going to have right foot forward and left foot back. So bring your right foot forward, left foot back. Again, find that center. So try not to lean too much into your back foot or your front foot. So weight evenly distributed. We're going to start with your left hand, and we're just going to start by taking that left arm forwards and backwards. You're going to keep your eyes facing forwards. So keep your head still and just start to swing your arm forwards and backwards. And then can you start to turn your shoulders to the side and chest to the side whilst keeping your head facing forward. So your arm comes forward and then you turn and rotate your chest to the side as your arm comes back. So you're just working on starting to mobilize your lower vertebra in your neck and upper vertebra in your back when you do this. So rather than moving your head as well, so rotating that upper body, good. And then start to bring your other arm out in front as well. So you're stretching, reaching long through both fingers. That's it. Can you feel how your upper back starts to rotate and move? So this is really good for anybody who spends a lot of time, sitting at a desk or reading or, looking at their little devices, texting, whatever it is. Really nice way of just mobilising. Okay, I can see some of you doing it already, so start to shift your weight forwards and backwards now as well. So it's like a walking, exaggerated walking on the spot. So shifting your weight into your front foot, into your back foot. Good. And then from here, next time you step back, we're just going to step back and open up wide. So you've got both feet, this will be me side on, so wide. And then you're going to step forwards, and then step backwards and forward. So still, if you can, try and keep your eye gaze looking straight ahead. So you're not moving your head. Good, just stepping forwards and backwards. And just do that one more time. Leave your heel behind you. So it should be your left heel behind you. You're going to go from here, you're going to drop into a little hinge. So as if you're sticking your bottom back and bending your chest forward. And then you're going to step forward again. So this time when you step back, you drop into the hinge. It's almost like a hamstring stretch at the front, and then step back. So just go forwards and back, but this time instead of bending the knee, you're bending one knee and straightening the other. So drop down, good. And then next time you step back, again, just pausing here. Shift your weight into your back leg. Imagine you can turn your foot out to the side. So imagine you can externally rotate from your hip. You might feel a little bit of work going on in that back bottom and hip. We're just going to pause here. Just have a little breath. And then you're going to take that back leg up and bring it up in front of you. So there's a little balance challenge. So go back into that bent knee hip hinge, and then from here bring the leg back up. So when you stand up, think about up towards the ceiling. Think about using this stabilizing leg. Use your abdominals as well to help you balance, and then you can add in those arms as well. So try and get the movement so that it's your opposite arm that comes forward. I have to really think about that. So a little bit of brain work going on this morning. One more time, and then just pause in your balance. Okay, think about creating that length in your spine. Hold it onto your pelvis again. You're going to just rotate the hip. So up, out, and down. Up, out, and down. And then change direction. So you go out, round, and down. And again, out, round, and down. Clicky hips. And last one. Well done. Just pedal out your feet. And let's do that on the other side. So bring your left foot forward. Evenly distribute your weight between both feet. Right hand this time just starts to come forwards and then sweep backwards. And then once you've got that movement, then start to rotate your chest to the side. But again, trying to just keep your eyes facing forwards. And then you can start to shift your weight forwards and backwards. So as you come forwards, lift off your back heel. And as you go backwards, lift up your front toes. So you get that almost rocking movement. And then you can add in, some of you are again already, the opposite arm. So reaching long through your fingers and then rotating. So you should get that nice rotation through that upper back. Good. Okay, from here, next time we go back, we're just going to sit back into that hinge. So bend your back knee. You can lift your front toes if you want to. Arms can be out, or just bring your hands. So down. Imagine you're turning out that back foot slightly. And then from here, step forward. So we go back into that little hinge and then step forward. So when you hinge back, you keep your back up tall, chest up tall towards the ceiling. So step back. So good. And then what we're going to do after this one is start to bring that back leg through and come into a balance. Pause there, good. Step back and balance. So some of you lost that chest turn as well. So make sure you're not just taking your arm behind you, but you're also rotating to the side. Good. Let's just do one more. And then pause here. Bring your hands onto your pelvis. Stand up nice and tall. Circle 3 times one way. 2 and 3, and then change and do 3 times the other way. 1, 2 and 3, and then just bring your feet down. Well done. Okay, go back to your original foot forward. So shift your weight into your front foot, so it should be your right foot forward, everyone, and then start to just rotate your back leg in and out. So you're moving your hips actually you're not moving your hips, your pelvis is staying still and you're rotating, internally and externally rotating the hip. So it looks, you're pivoting on your back toe. Again, this is a little bit tricky on Zoom. And then shift your weight into your back leg, lift up your front toes and just turn your toes in and out. So again, it's actually the hip that's moving in and moving out. And then shift your weight back to the center. So again, right foot forward, weight in the center. This time bring your hands to the side. I want you to imagine you're between two panes of glass and you're going to rotate, not rotate, you're going to side bend to one side and then to the other. So when your feet are apart like this, rather than parallel, it's a little bit harder. So it just challenges your balance a little bit. Try this with your eyes closed as well. And go to the point where you think, if I go any further, I'm going to fall and step. So challenge yourself as you do this. Take yourself right to the end range of your ability. Just do one more each way. And then come back up, open your eyes and bring your fingers together in front of you. I want you to keep your nose and chin in line with your fingers now as you rotate to the left, back to the center, and then rotate to the other side. So this time your head does move, but you're just tracking your fingers. So it means that you don't over rotate. Just do one more each way and then come back to the center. Okay, you're going to step, if you're on a sticky mat or a sticky floor, can you step off it so you're on a slidey surface? Keep your right foot forward. You're going to lift your heels and bring your arms forward and then down. And again, lift your heels. So your arms just come up to shoulder height. If that doesn't work for you, just keep your arms by your side. You don't have to add the arms in. Try then closing your eyes. Oh, we wobble a bit more, so don't come up so high. Two more. Wobbling is not bad, actually. Wobbling is good. It teaches your body how to balance. Last one, pause here. Okay, open your eyes, lift your heels, open your arms now, and then arms come down, legs come down. So lift up, open arms, and then heels down. Close your eyes, try it, open and down. Two more. And last one. Well done. This time, lift your arms, lift your heels, turn your head and rotate your arm, left arm out to the side and then down. And again, so lift up, right arm, turn your head and down. For a challenge, do this with your eyes shut. So what's going on? If you feel really wobbly, this is when you want to think, what muscles can I start to recruit that are going to help? So use your tummy muscles, your pelvic floor muscles, your glutes. So just do one more each way. And last one. Okay, bring your heels down. So this is why I got you to go onto a slidier surface. So we're going to lift up and then we're going to do a quarter turn and turn to face your left. And then you lift up again, turn back to face the front. So lift up without falling over and turn. Up onto your toes, spin and turn. Try it with your eyes shut. Lift up and rotate. Lift up and rotate. It's harder than you think, isn't it? A few wobblies there. Up and rotate. One more time, back and rotate. Well done, everyone. Okay, let's do that little routine on the other side. So you can stay where you are, you can go back onto your mat and then we'll step back again. So standing up nice and tall, arms wide, eyes closed if you want to as you go side to side. The reason we change your feet is to create balance, but also you probably find that you have a more dominant leg and that leg will be the one that does most of the work. So once again, try and keep your weight evenly distributed between your front foot and your back foot. Just do one more, then come back to the center. Open your eyes, fingertips together, rotate to your right this time. Keep your head in line with your fingers as you rotate. Good. Shoulders nice, stay nice and relaxed. Just do one more each way. And then come back to the center. Lifting up your arms now as you lift your heels. So double heel, double arm lifts. Arms are nice and relaxed. Imagine you're in space. So all the work is being done by your core and your legs. Two more times like this. Okay, close your eyes now if you want to. So pressing the balls of your feet in and your big toes will help you to activate your pelvic floor and will help with that stability. Okay, last one, pause. Open your eyes, open your arms, and lower down. And again, lift up, open, and down. 2 more like this. Close eyes if you need to or want to. Last one. Okay, this time when you lift up, turn your head to the right and down. And turn your head to the left and down. Once again, if you want to challenge, just close your eyes. Good. Let's just do one more. And last one. And come down. Well done. Okay, let's do that little fun quarter turn. So lift up, turn to the right, heels down. Lift up center, turn back to the front. So remember your feet as in parallel as when you turn to the side, and then you go back to 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Good, let's just do one more each way. Turn to the side, and then turn to the back. Well done. All right, give your ankles a little rotation, so just shift, roll them one way, and roll them the other way, and then take your feet out nice and wide on your mat. So hopefully feeling nice and warm. We're just going to do a little bit more mobility, and then we're going to come down onto the floor. So bring your arms out. We'll do this one you'll all be familiar with. So thinking about using your abdominals to help you as you slide side to side. So if it's painful, don't go very far. If it doesn't work with your arms out, bring your arms to here. You can still go side to side. So the movement is, rather than dipping, you're keeping the space between your waist and your ribs, and you're reaching and sliding your rib cage across the top of your pelvis using your abdominals. Next time you go to your left, turn your palm up, look over that arm, and then do the same on the other side. So it's like your little Egyptian. And next time you come to your left, pause here. We're just going to windmill your arms. If it doesn't work to take your arm overhead, just bring it here, or bring it down by your side. You don't have to take it all the way overhead. And the same on the other side. So stretch, one up, one down, and then just windmill the arms as you come over to the side. Come back to the center, and then just roll your shoulders, keeping your feet where they are. You're going to hinge forward. So I'm going to show you sideways on because it's easier. So you hinge forward, stick your bottom back, and then you shift your weight onto one side and then over to the other side. So just take your arms out in front of you just to give yourself a little bit of balance. Bend one knee, keep the other leg straight. So if you're pushing your body, it's kind of a bit like a skating, you look like a skater. Push your bottom back, keep your chest up nice and tall. So one more each way. And then pause when you come to your left. Bring your hands down onto your thigh. If you want to, you can just walk your foot a little bit further out, but if that doesn't work for you with your legs so wide, then keep your feet narrow. Back to the center, and then just shift over to the other side, nice and relaxed through your shoulders. Come back to the center, bring your hands onto your legs. I'm going to do a standing cat stretch here. So again, just hinging forwards, but this time a bit more of a bend in your knee. You're going to stick your tail up. So imagine you've got a tail in your tailbone, you want to stick it up towards the ceiling. So you create a little curve in your, or arch in your back. And then you're going to go the other way. So you're rounding your spine. Imagine you've got a tail on your tailbone, you want to tuck it between your legs. And again, so just do a few of these in your own time. Again, if it doesn't work for you, make your movements a bit smaller. You don't have to go crazy. Just go one more each way. And then come back to the center. So this time you're going to keep the knees bent. Take your arms over to the outside of your left leg. Straighten your left leg. And then with the elbow, you're going to reach up towards the ceiling. That might be enough for some of you. If you want to go further, you can reach the whole arm up and you can turn your head. But if that doesn't work for you, just reach your elbow and down. So again, just do a few on this side. So whichever works for you. Bend arm, straight arm, keep your head still, turn your head. As you straighten, as you send the elbow up, straighten the leg as well. So that is going to give you a nice stretch down the hamstring. One more time. Good. Okay, switch to the other side. And then go. So if any of you are struggling with upper back stiffness, shoulder or neck stiffness, all these rotational movements that we've been doing today will be really, really good for you. Just do one more on this side. Come back down, bring your hands onto your thighs, and then slowly just roll all the way back up. Give your shoulders a little roll now. and give your feet a little wiggle. Okay, we're going to come down onto your hands and knees. So before we do that, if you need to grab a drink, if you want to move your screens down so that you can see me and I can see you, then now's a good time to do that. Everybody okay? Give me a thumbs up if you are. Perfect. All right. So we're going to start on all fours. So when you're on all fours, you want to have your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. For this one, we want the knees a bit wider than normal. Normally we have our knees about fist width apart. We're going to take our knees and feet nice and wide out to the sides. If you want to, you can tuck your toes under here as well. So we're going to do a little bit of mobility work, and then we're going to do some upper body and abdominal strengthening. So you're going to sit your bottom back towards your heels. It doesn't have to go all the way. So just go as far as is comfortable for you. And then start to just shift your weight forwards into your hands. So remember, again, with any of these, if your wrists start to get sore, you just come onto your fists, or you come down onto your forearms. So always make adjustments. So as you start to warm up a bit more, you can make your movements a little bit bigger. So you can walk your hands a little bit further forward. When you can start to, if it feels good for you, you can drop your pelvis down towards the floor. If it doesn't, then just keep your bottom up nice and tall. So you're breathing out as you, in as you go back, and out as you shift forward. So by now you should be towards the end range of what's possible for your body. So we're just going to pause when you take your bottom back next time. Just pause there. And then shift your weight forward and pause wherever the end is for you as well. Relax your shoulders, maybe turn your head to one side and then to the other side. And then shift back onto your hands and knees and come up into kneeling. Let's give our wrists a little rest and then come into kneeling. If you need some padding, you can fold your mat over. Okay, so we're going to do that little movement that we did when we were standing. So we're with our knees on the floor this time. So it's harder for us to turn our pelvis so that movement really comes to the upper back. So we start with our left arm going backwards, right arm going forwards. Again, try and keep your eyes and head facing forward. So sure, can you just rotate, if it works for you, rotate your chest to the side as well. There you go. Rotate to the side. So some of you, it might just be the camera angle, look like you're taking that front arm across your body. Try not to do that. So you want the front arm to go straight forward like a die. So look down the barrel of a gun. Good, just do one more each way. And then come back to the center. Give your shoulders a little roll and a little wiggle, and then come back down onto your hands and knees. Okay, so this time we're going to start doing a little bit more strengthening work, so upper body and tummy muscles. Shifting your weight just forwards and backwards, so small ranges of movement this time. As you shift forwards, I want you to press your knees into the floor. Imagine that you've got a tray of drinks on your back. Some of you look like you're just maybe arching your back a bit, so try and keep your back nice and flat if you can see yourself. Shift forwards. Now as you shift forward, start to, when you push your knees in, what does that do? Can you feel your pelvic floor? Can you feel the muscles in your inner thighs working? If you can't, then try and think about it. Okay, and one more time. This time bring your knees together, knees and feet together. Do exactly the same. So shift forwards and back. What does that change? Press your knees in, press your feet into the floor. Can you feel your pelvic floors working when you do that? All right, if it feels good for you, and only if, you can, as you come forward this time, start to hover your knees off the floor. So you're lifting them a centimetre or so off the floor, not very much. If that doesn't work for you, just keep your knees down. Just check in with your neck, those of you with neck tension, or everybody really. Just make sure you're not peering at your screen. Try and look down on the floor, just maybe between your hands. Just do one more. And pause here. So either knees down or knees up, just hovering the knees. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees back down, sit back down on your heels. Bring yourself up to kneeling. and roll your shoulders. Okay, we're going to do a little variation on that now. So knees and feet together again. This time, instead of moving forwards and back, we're going to shift your knees to one side, lift up and shift them to the other side. So you hover your feet off the, you can, again, I'll show you both versions. So if you don't want to hover, you can just simply tap your knees to one side, tap them to the other. If you want to try doing it the hovering version, lift up, hover, tap to one side, lift up, tap to the other side. So pick which works for you. If none of them do, then just go back to your weight shifts forwards and backwards. Okay, there's always an option. You get my feet keep cramping up when I do this, so I'm going to tap my toes under. So shift, lift, shift, and up. Try not to hold your breath, so don't forget to breathe. And then next time you take your knees to the right, shift them all the way around and lower your bum down onto the floor. So you're into that sort of side sitting position. Okay, we're going to do something we haven't done before, side press-ups. Who knew you could do side press-ups? So you're going to keep your hands where they are, and all you're going to do is take your chest down to the floor and then press away again. So breathe in and breathe out. So these are excellent for those of you who can't manage normal press-ups. These are still a great way of building some upper body strength and keeping your upper body strength. Wall press-ups are also really good for that as well. That's one thing that we really do start to lose as we get older, is our bit of upper body strength. We're just not using it so much. Do one more, and then give your wrists a rest. So just come down onto your elbow, give your wrist a little rest. Okay, we're going to mix it up a bit. So you can either carry on with your double arms, or if you want to try, we're going to do a single arm side press up. So your whatever is your back arm, so it's my right, it's probably your left arm, I think. You're going to use that arm. The other arm's just going to come across your chest and hold on to your shoulder. So bend and straighten. If that doesn't work for you, so those of you with neck, shoulder problems, you can carry on with your double arms, so you don't have to do single arms. Okay, lower and up. Slow movement, lower and up. One more time. Good. Okay, change hands. So we don't do loads and loads of these. So you'll find one side easier than the other. Susan's given up. She's rolled down on the floor. She's collapsed tonight. And do one more. So they're surprisingly hard, right? Compared to the double hand ones. Okay, let's have enough of those. So we're going to come from here. We're just going to lie down on that bottom arm. Give our wrists and shoulders and head a little rest. Take your top arm and reach it up overhead and have a nice little stretch out. Make sure your head is heavy on your bottom arm and just have a little stretch. So you can stretch your top leg out as well if you want to. All right, and then from there, bring yourself back up. So this time you're balanced on your elbow. So you want your elbow to be right underneath your shoulder. You're going to then straighten out your top leg and you want to push it as far away from you as you can. Imagine that I'm there pulling on your ankle and lengthening your leg. So what you'll find has probably happened now that elbow is not underneath your shoulder anymore. So just pick it up and put it right back underneath. Okay, so keeping that length in your leg, I want you to then just lift up the top leg and hold. Anna, we did this yesterday. Anna did Pilates with me yesterday in Halos. So we were doing this on the reformer. So she's probably cursing me now. And then lower down. Okay, push away again. Lift up, pause and hold. So you feel your leg feels really heavy, doesn't it? So we're working on strengthening the muscles in the glutes and lower down. We're doing that 2 more times. So lengthen away, then lift up. You don't have to lift your leg very high either. And lower down. So Sarah, that looks right. I know you look like you're struggling to see me, but just lift up and hold. You want to make sure it's the muscles in your leg and your bottom that are doing the work and not your back muscles. So if your muscles here are tense, you are probably not doing it right, and you need to think about creating length rather than shortening. And then just bring that leg down. Okay, once again, come down onto the floor. This time, bring your arms out in front of you. If you've got a cushion, you can pop it underneath your head in this position. Otherwise, keep your head on the floor. So again, another of my favorites, we're going to go into that sideline open door. So you're breathing in, sweeping your top arm up, and then opening out to the side. and then breathing out as you come back. Again, if that doesn't work for you to sweep your arm up like that, what you can do is sweep it, draw it across your chest and open that way. So anybody with shoulder issues or neck things going on, just do what works for you. You don't have to exactly copy me. So try and slow your breath right down and then synchronize that movement with the breath. When I probably told you this story before, but when I first started doing Pilates, I thought this was the most boring exercise ever. And I was like, oh, what are we doing it for? And now I think I really love it because it just really helps you to open up your chest, get some mobility through that lower back, and then just slow everything down. So we're going to do one more. Pause here. If you can't get your back hands on the floor, then just lift up your top knee, and that should allow you to rotate a little bit more. Just pause, have a breath in, breath out, and then when you're ready, you're going to roll back onto your side, and then we're going to turn back onto all fours. So here's another fun one. I can't remember if we did this one yesterday, Anna. She'll tell me if it's fun or not. Draw your shoulders away from your ears, tummy in so that you're nice and tall. And normally, again, we have our knees wide. I want you to bring your knees together. So glue your knees and your feet together for this one. And you're going to shift your weight into your right knee and right hand. So again, it's quite hard to see on Zoom, but I'm shifting my weight over to the side. I'm going to imagine I'm balancing a tray on my back. I'm going to take my left leg behind me. And then just for fun, you're going to bring your left arm out as well. So you're balancing on your right hand and right leg. Again, if this doesn't work for you, you can keep one hand down. You don't have to take your arm out in front of you. So Sean, for you, it might be better to take your arm behind you and then come down. Do that on the other side. So knees start together. Shift your weight to your left. Send your left leg behind you and left arm. So I've been practicing this for a few days. The first day I did it, I fell over nearly, but now I can do it much easier. Good. So just keep shifting, and you hold and you pause. So it's the pause for the few seconds to stabilize that's the hard work. So who's spilled all their drinks? I think I have one side but not the other. Good. Just do one more each side, but make sure you're evenly balanced. And the more you do this, the easier it will become and the stronger you'll become. Okay, bring both hands down. Just sit your bottom back on your heels. Have a little stretch out. If you want to, you can pop your head on the floor. If it doesn't go onto the floor, just make two little fists and pop your head onto your fists. Have a little breather. So nice breaths into your back. And then bring yourself back up to kneeling. Okay, before we go on to do that little routine on the other side, bring yourself into kneeling. So a little bit more rotation here. So bring your arms out in front of you. But this time we're going to go into our bow and arrow arms. So right arm, imagine you're pulling a bow and just rotating your head behind you and then bringing your arm back down. And then left arm, sorry. So you're alternating sides. So just tracking your hands with your eyes as you rotate one way and then the other. Good. And just do one more each way. Lovely. And last one. Okay, come back onto all fours. Keep your knees together. So we're going to do those little side to sides, and then we're going to shift our knees to the other side. So we're just going to do a couple to each side. So lift up and shift, lift up and shift. So next time your knees come to, should be your left, I think this time. Push them to the left and then bring your bottom down onto the floor. So you come into that side sitting. Somebody called this the posh lady sitting. Is this how posh ladies sit? Who's posh? Anybody posh? I don't sit like this, so I'm definitely not posh. Okay, bring your hands onto the floor. So into those push-ups, side press-ups. Breathing in as you come down, breathing out as you come up. Just keep your head nice and relaxed and balanced. So if you feel any tension in your neck when you come down, maybe just nod your chin towards your chest a little bit. So rock down. So you're not moving your neck really. The only reason your head's going up and down is because you're bending your elbows. Okay, if anybody wants to try single arms, you can give it a go now. So back arm first. Oh, it's my left arm. It's really weak. It's rubbish, in fact. And then if anybody wants to try the other arm, you can. Or you can just stay with both, or you can have a rest. Just do 2 more. And then collapse in a heap, roll all the way down, line your bottom arm. Top arm's going to come up over the top and have a little stretch out. You can stretch your top leg away as well. Just have a nice couple of breaths here. Really open up down the side of your body. Hold on. Okay, so bend your knees, bring that bottom arm up so you're balanced on your bottom elbow and your elbow is underneath your shoulders. Then lengthen your top leg away. Really push it away, and if you need to adjust that bottom arm, bring it a little bit closer towards you. So same as we did on the other side, try and fire up it's your gluteus medius that we're working here, and then just lifting that leg a few centimeters off the floor and pausing and holding. So again, just check in that you're not using your back muscles and the muscles in the waist. You're using the leg muscles and the bottom muscles, and then lower your foot down. So lengthen away, and then lift up and pause. It's amazing how heavy your leg is, isn't it? And lower down. And again, lengthen away. So your gluteus medius is a really important pelvic stabilizer. So that's why we're doing this exercise. And lower down, stretch away, lift up. So anytime you're doing anything on single leg, whether it's going up and down the stairs, whether it's running, any movements like that, your gluteus medius that stabilizes your pelvis, lower down. Did I say one more? I can't remember. Let's do one more. Sorry, talking too much. Lift up, pause, and then just lower down. Take that top arm up. Have a big stretch here. So stretch away through your fingers, through your toes. Again, you don't have to take your arm overhead if that doesn't work for you. Just leave it there. All right, let's come down onto the floor. Rest your head down. Bring your hands together. And then we're going to that open door. So your options, you can either sweep your fingers straight up and over, or you can draw them across your chest and over. And again, just try and synchronize breath and the movement. So slow it all down. And just allow that lovely rotation to happen. Just do a couple more. And last one, just pausing here. Try and get both arms on the floor. If you can't get your back arm on the floor, remember just to lift that top knee. There's always an adjustment that we can make. All right, so 15 minutes left. We're going to come onto your back. A lot of Pilates, and if many of you have done other Pilates classes, spend all your time on your back, but not in my class. You don't get to. You do lots of other movements as well. But it is nice to have a little bit of time on your back, just to support your body. It's really good support for when you do exercises with your back on the floor. So try and find your neutral, which is, if you remember, your sacrum, so that triangular bone at the base of your spine, nice and flat. You might have a little gap underneath your lower back. Just bring your hands onto your pelvis, but at the same time, try and widen your collarbone so that you're not lifting your shoulders off the floor. So try and relax the shoulder blades onto the floor. And then I want you to imagine that bowl of water in your pelvis as you tilt it forwards and backwards. So a nice, really nice way to mobilize your spine, your lumbar spine, as well as increase blood flow to your pelvic organs. That's the dog. I think she's seen a squirrel. I'm not going to let her. If you hear her growling. And then think about your bowl of water now. Instead of moving it forwards and backwards, can you move it side to side? So you're shifting your pelvis from one side to the other. And then you could go in a circle as well. So imagine that you've got a marble now in your belly button and you're rolling it round and round your abdomen in a circle. And then go the other way. Good, just go once more all the way around and then come back to the center. All right, so back into your neutral. We're going to tilt that bowl of water back up towards your chest, and this time we're going to start to peel your bottom off the floor. So you're lifting your bottom, and then you peel each of your vertebrae off the floor. With your arms, they can either stay by your side, or you can float them up overhead at the same time, whichever works for you. And then I want you to slowly roll back down again. So try and do this really slowly. Everybody wants to do this quickly, this one, I don't know why. So try it if you can. Think about 8 counts up and 8 counts down. If you can do that in 2 breaths, brilliant. If not, breathe in, try and breathe out for 8 counts, all the way to the top. Pause at the top, have a breath in, and then breathe out for 8 counts as you roll back down again. So it's a really nice movement for synchronizing your breath with a little bit of movement as well. So it helps to create balance and calmness in the body when you move and breathe at the same cadence. So just do a couple more in your own time. Again, this is one of these exercises when I first started doing Pilates. I was like, oh, not sure what it's doing. It seems a bit boring, but now, 20 years later, I love it. All right, bring your arms down by your side, and then this time bring your knees and your feet close together. You're going to use your hands to help you. So press your hands and your elbows into the mat and lift your pelvis this time straight up. So instead of doing that little segmental approach, you're lifting it straight up, and then maybe just drop it a fraction. So you don't want to push so far that you arch your back. Okay, so knees and feet glued together. You're going to shift your weight into your left leg. So again, I'm not really doing much. You just have to listen to what I say. Shift your weight into your left leg. You should feel your left buttock and outside of your leg working hard. And then shift your weight into your right leg. And you should feel that side working hard. So you're just alternating sides. Pause for a few seconds. As you shift your weight into your right leg now, press your right heel into the floor. So you feel that will help, again, fire those glutes up. And then as you shift to the left, press your left heel in. So you can stay with that version if that's enough for you. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, next time you go to your right, press your right heel in and float your left leg off the floor into tabletop. But just make sure your pelvis doesn't drop. So the tendency is that you're going to drop your left side of your pelvis, so try not to do that. So you pick whichever version works for you, and you're going to do 4 on each side. Your other option, if you're not sure what your pelvis is doing, is to put your fingertips on the front of your pelvis. So as you lift your leg off, you can feel whether it's dropped or not. So if you imagine that you've got a spirit level on the front of your pelvis and you want to keep the bubble in the center. All right, make this your last one each side. So again, building that strength in the glutes, so important. Back to the center, and then just roll all the way down. Have a few little pelvic tilts and a little roll, maybe if your back feels like it was working hard there. And then have a little stretch out. So stretch your feet out in front of you, stretch your arms out overhead. I've got a nice sofa here that I can put my hands under and pull under, but imagine somebody's pulling you, getting traction. Again, you don't have to take your arms overhead. If that doesn't work for you, just keep them by your side and imagine that you're lengthening your legs away instead. All right, bring your arms by your side. So we're going to do a little bit more abdominal work before we finish, before we stretch out. So find your neutral again. We're going to do one of the most fundamental exercises for pelvic stability. So on your out breath, you're going to breathe out and float one leg up into tabletop without moving your pelvis, and then bring it back down. And then breathe out again, float your other leg up, and on your in-breath, bring it back down. So that's all we're going to start doing. So one leg up and the other leg down. Imagine that leg is weightless. So it feels weightless. So it feels like it's almost no effort. But actually, what you should feel is that your lower abdominals are working hard to help you lift your leg and also keep your pelvis still at the same time. So from here, let's add some arm movements on as well. So as you lift your left leg, you send your right arm overhead. So you're working with opposites. So your abdominals now are working to stabilize your lower body and your moving upper body. Just do one more each way. And then pause. Okay, so you can either stay with that. So if your abdominals aren't strong enough or your back hurts, I would stay with that version. Your second version is to bring both legs into tabletop. If you're going to do that, check your abdominals. Make sure there's no doming. Make sure there's no arching in your lower back. So today I'm going to stick with the first version, but I will show you the second version. So second version, you start with both feet up, and then you tap one heel, and then the other heel. So you can either do that, you can add your arms in as well, so opposite arm, opposite leg, or you can do the version that we were doing previously. You're still getting abdominal work. So whichever version you're doing, just do 4 more each side. Again, trying to coordinate movement of your limbs with your out breath and your in breath. Making sure that your head is supported by the floor, you're not holding any tension in your neck. So I've got 1 more each leg. And then bring your feet down, just hug those knees into your chest and have a little rock side to side here. So nice little massage for your lower back. And then do some little circles. So just keeping the knees hugging in, circling around like a little sort of spinning top. And then go the other way. And then if you want to, everybody's different. If you want to do wide leg circles, you can open your legs. But if that doesn't work for you, then keep your knees together. So just do a few each way. And then from here, bring your legs up towards the ceiling. So some of you won't be able to get your legs straight. That's fine. You can have a little bend in the knees if you want to. If you think you want some support for your back, you can put your hands underneath your bottom and then bring your legs up. But because your legs are straight up towards the ceiling, it's not really an abdominal exercise. We're going to just work on opening up the hamstrings. So then hug your knees in and then push them back up. So each time you might feel that you can get your legs a little bit straighter. So breathe in as you open the legs up and breathe out as you bend them. And then next time you bend your knees, just curl your chin towards your chest as well. So you curl yourself into a little ball. And then extend your legs up. So again, that's optional. If when you pick your head up off the floor, doesn't work for you, just leave your head down. And then the third option is as you extend your legs, take your arms overhead as well. So you're really stretching everything, opening everything up. Just do 2 more. And last one. Well done. Keep your arms overhead. Maybe you can bend your elbows and just carefully bring your feet back down onto the floor. Give your pelvis a little wiggle side to side. And then start to just take your knees left to right. You can start with small ranges of movement. And if your back feels okay, you can let your knees drop a little bit further. So again, try and coordinate your movement and your breath. Breathe in as you go to the sides, breathe out as you come back to the center. So it's a fairly slow, controlled movement. And then next time you go to your left, you're just going to let those knees drop all the way to the floor. And then come back to the center. This is where all the dogs start to join in as well. And then come to the other side. Okay, you're going to roll onto this side. So roll onto your right side and then bring yourself all the way around onto your hands and knees. And then just have a little wiggle again with your pelvis side to side. So we're going to do a cat stretch on our hands and knees here. So we're going to start with your tail going up. So create that arch in your back as your tail goes up, chest drops down to the floor. And then bring your back to neutral, to a flat back. And then you're going to round your spine the other way. So chin jumps towards your chest, tail drops between your legs. So breathing in, up, draw your shoulders back, chest drops down, tail goes up. So just do 2 more in your own time. And then come back to a flat back. And then this time draw some circles. Imagine you've got a propeller on your tail bone and you're going to draw those circles round and round. Go one way and then the other way. Well done. Okay, from here, step 1 foot forward. Doesn't matter which one, do both. Hands on your pelvis, tuck your pelvis forwards. And then you might want to walk that front foot a little bit further forwards because we're just going to move into that stretch. So stretching forwards and back, keeping your chest up nice and tall. If you want to add some arms in, you can, just to open up a bit more, but if that doesn't work for you, keep your arms down. Couple more. And then just pausing here, bring your left arm, if your left leg is forward, bring your left arm up, otherwise the other arm. Reach up and over. Again, if that doesn't work for you, you can just still go over without the arm. Okay, switch legs. So again, just shifting forwards and backwards. Working with your breath, breathe in as you go into your stretch and breathe out again. Again, add those arms if you want to. Nice and relaxed though, no tension in the shoulders. Couple more. Then just pause here this time, opposite arm reaches up if it works for you, and then reach over to the side. Well done. Okay, coming back into kneeling, you're going to just shuffle your front foot back a little bit. Take your hands behind your back, chest, lift that breastbone, and then try and stand up without touching your thighs. Or Dad, I can see you, you're using the props. All right, well done. That's a little challenge for you. Okay, just give your feet a little wiggle. I can't normally see you, Dad. You usually hide from me. And then just circle your pelvis around one way. Good. And then the other way. Lovely. Well done. Okay, and we're going to finish as we started. So just trying this with your feet in parallel, that shifting, rotating of the upper body side to side. Good. Hopefully you feel a little bit looser than you did at the start of the class. Just do a couple more each way. Good. And then back to the center. Just roll your shoulders up to your ears and then release them down. Just do that a couple more times. As you roll your shoulders, lift your toes as well. You probably can't see mine, but just lifting your toes. And one more time. And release down. Okay, give your arms a little shake. So you're going to press down with your left hand, and then imagine you've got a piece of string on your left ear, pulling you up towards the ceiling and then gently over to the side. So you don't want to make this an aggressive stretch. If it doesn't work for you, don't stretch so far. Just breathe in and breathe out. Try and think about opening up and creating space between your ear and your shoulder. And then really slowly just let your chin drop down towards your chest. And then roll it slowly to the other side. Press away with your right hand. If that doesn't work for you, just bring your head back up a little bit. Don't aggressively stretch. It feels sore. Roll your chin back to the center. And then again, just with control, let your eyes just track back forwards until your eyes are facing forwards. Spread your fingers nice and wide. You're going to lift your heels this time. Breathing in, reach up. Breathing